Allowing women of all ages to enter the Sabarimala temple, the Kerala government today informed the Kerala High Court that it was ready to explore the possibility of keeping aside 2 days in the entire Mandalam season. The Mandalam season runs for 2 months, but 2 days in the entire season exclusively for women and allowing women devotees to pray at the temple. This after 4 women today moved the Kerala High Court seeking police protection to enter the temple. They had suggested that the state government reserve 3 days for women's entry. The Kerala High Court has sought a report from the state government on the possible options that can be implemented within a week to allow women's entry into Sabarimala. All right, here in our studios, Advaita Kala, author and writer, and Rahul Ishwar, activist. Advaita, of course, pro-entry, and Rahul against entry. Rahul, so it seems like if the Kerala High Court has its way, the government has today told the court that 2 days in the Mandalam season you can reserve for women and women's entry.
Zakka, we will join the case and we will strongly oppose this. Is it not unfair for a secular government to interfere in a religious practice like this, may it be temple, church or a mosque? Shouldn't the secular establishment keep one-arm distance with this? And especially at a point of time when the Honorable Supreme Court has decided to hear the review. There are 50
the court has also said their earlier order stands.
On January 22nd.
No, Rahul, the court has also said their earlier order stands.
Yeah, definitely.
And if this is a way to implement that order, then why not go with it?
Request.
No, if this is a way to implement that order without creating the kind of violence and protest that we saw last time, why not go with it?
Zakka, please remember, we lakhs of devotees are waiting to guard Sabarimala for the next 66 days. So they will definitely meet with strong opposition. We are definitely there with our Gandhigiri and Gandhian methods of protest to resist anybody from intruding and invading into the
violence that we saw. But could this be a possible solution to this problem? Because the fact is, it's been what? It's going to be 2 months since the Supreme Court's verdict, and not a single woman has entered Sabarimala yet.
Right. Zakka, you said I'm pro-women entry. I think to be a little clearer, I'm pro the Constitution and what
we all are. I don't think even Rahul is against the Constitution.
I think it's very important to emphasize that, because when these situations come forward, wherein there is a Supreme Court judgment, there will be many Supreme Court judgments even in the future, which we may not agree with on a personal level or have, problems with, and that's quite natural, because there have been very compelling arguments made because it's a specific tradition and there are certain aspects to it. I think so. One can be cognizant of that. I think.
So, what do you do? How do you implement an order when seemingly a large number, if not a majority, of the people there in Kerala seem to have a problem with it?
I squarely blame the left government because Pinarayi Vijayan has finally come down to meeting people. He should have done this right in the beginning. There was a crowd build-up for over 2 weeks. It was peaceful, no doubt, and credit to the protesters. It was peaceful. Now, but it was very likely that with that number of people and that kind of sentiment, he should have reached out and took into account all options, whether they would contest the order, would they look at other legal options to follow, the layout of implementing this order. When did they introduce section 144? It was only after. Instead they went on this aggressive arresting drive, which really shifted.
2 days in the peak season?
I think the point where it's at, I really am skeptical at this point.
You don't think it'll happen?
Because, there have been too many arrests. There have been devotees who have one has committed suicide. Another was found dead after being picked up by the police. I think it's been handled so badly that I think the smart thing to do would be to wait for the appeal. And then try anything.
But Rahul, what if tomorrow the Kerala High Court says the state government has said that we would be open to the idea of keeping 2 separate days for women? What if tomorrow the High Court says, yes, go ahead and do it? Will you oppose that as well? You've already opposed the Supreme Court.
We will join parties in Kerala High Court's this particular legal narrative. We will definitely present our version. We will also be appealing to, if we are losing the case, we will be appealing to Honorable Supreme Court. And I agree with Advaita Kalaji in saying that the situation was badly handled by Kerala government, and we are all pro-constitution. It is the greatness of Indian Constitution that Indian Constitution allows a Jallikattu model movement among the people if their sentiments are like that. And that's the greatness and benevolence of the Honorable Supreme Court and the greatness and large-heartedness of Indian Constitution. Shabarimala Pallikattu is Jallikattu version 2 for Kerala.
No,
we will be going ahead and fighting a
Rahul, you're missing the point. You're missing the point when you compare this to Jallikattu, because admittedly, I mean, Jallikattu also went against a Supreme Court order. But they brought an ordinance and they converted that into a bill, and that bill was passed by a 2/3 majority in the assembly. If this is the prevailing sentiment in Kerala, then please ask Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan's government to bring in a bill and pass it by 2/3 majority. You already said that the Kerala BJP and the Kerala Congress are with you. That's a substantial number.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me be very honest. Sri Pinarayi Vijayan may not be bringing this, but he can at least play a neutral role. We are requesting central government and we are requesting all the concerned parties, especially our Christian Muslim brothers are totally with us. We are also requesting their dominated parties to support us. They have conceded. Even people like Sri K.M. Mani went on and meet the governor and said there can be an ordinance. There are many people like P.J. Kurian, who was the Rajya Sabha deputy chief, went ahead and agreed with us.
Let me play out what Pinarayi Vijayan was at our News 18 Keralam event last evening, Rising Kerala, and he was asked a question about Sabarimala. This is what he said just last evening.
ജഡ്ജ്മെന്റും ഓർഡറും അതേപോലെ തന്നെ നിലനിൽക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ വേറെ ഓപ്ഷൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ മുന്നിലില്ല. ക്രമീകരണം എന്നത് ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത് തീരുമാനിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിൽ പല മാർഗങ്ങൾ സ്വീകരിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ഇപ്പോൾ ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് ഇത് പാസ് വെച്ചാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഓൺലൈൻ ബുക്കിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്. ആ ഓൺലൈൻ ബുക്കിങ്ങിൽ ചില പ്രത്യേക ദിവസങ്ങൾ ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി മാറ്റി വെക്കാനാവും. അത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾ ആലോചിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. അത് ശബരിമലയുടെ ആൾക്കാരുമായി ആലോചിക്കട്ടെ, എന്നിട്ട് നോക്കാൻ എന്നുള്ളത്.
Sorry, this is from today's press conference. We'll try and tape up what he said last night as well. But he's essentially saying that we'll discuss with the stakeholders in Sabarimala, and if this is the via media, if this is the solution to the problem, 2 days in the season, then let's find a way to implement that. You don't think that's a solution, or is it a dilution of the court order?
You know, I think it's
Advaita.
I think it's something that should have happened a lot earlier. You know, I spent at some time focusing on Kerala, and really, you know, the conflict there really is this certain brand of Kannurism, which is reflected in Pinarayi Vijayan's personal leadership style, wherein this sort of strong arm tactics,
my way or the highway,
has really backfired, and it's now such a tentative situation. You know, the suggestion that he's making today was a conversation that should have happened all those weeks ago. Because
no, but do you believe it's a dilution of the court order? The court order doesn't say, you know, X number of days in a season, or 1 day in a week, or 5 days in a month. It doesn't say that.
Well, you know, the issue is that there are other court orders that Mr. Vijayan's government has not implemented. You know, like the Gadgil committee report, for example, the recommendations there, which some people have said had led to that deluge. So what's happening in Kerala is that a lot of people are finding him very, very selective, and that's fueling even more angst. And like Rahul is saying, you know, a lot of the other communities have also come together against this, because they are sort of seeing this kind of selectivity and wondering if they're next and what's going on, and that kind of insecurity is now breeding ground.
But can there be selective application of the Supreme Court order, Rahul? I mean, if you're saying 2 days in the season, that's also selective application,
isn't it? No. Yeah, absolutely no. That's the reason why we want this order, particular judgment, to be reviewed. We will be going ahead with this, and Advaita ji rightly said, it's a great sight in Kerala that all the major Muslim organization, the majority of Christian organization has come up and supported a Hindu temple. This is a movement that really unified Kerala, and we are pointing out that there are some discrepancies in this particular verdict. We want the Indu Malhotra's verdict, the only female judge in Supreme Courts, especially in this case, verdict to be implemented. We hope we will be able to win in the 2019 January 22nd from
the principle of law is very clear. It's majority judgment that prevails. But anyway, the principle of law is very clear. Majority judgment prevails. But I think I've just been informed by my producer that we can queue up the bite of Pinarayi Vijayan from our event. This is the Network 18 event, News 18 Keralam's Rising Kerala last night. All right. Okay. I think there's something jinx about that. But I'll get a closing comment. You think before the end of the season, which ends end of January, I think, you think a woman would have entered the temple by then?
you know, the extent to which this has gone wrong. I cannot even again begin to re-emphasize and emphasize this. It has been handled so badly that I just feel that it's at this feverish pitch wherein I don't think any solution apart from this going through the appeal process is going to satisfy any party.
So, Rahul, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand, you know, the religious texts and the scriptures, the pariharam, as they say, if a woman were to enter, even by accident, in the Sannidhanam, is to have certain set of pujas to wash away the evil and so on and so forth. My question is, if that's what it's going to take, if you're going to have 2 separate days for women, all you need to do at the end of those 2 days is to have those set of pujas, and then you can go back to business as normal.
No. It is not as simple as that. It goes against the core belief of the temple, and if some young woman is trying to intrude, we will be there with folding hands and prayers on our lips, and we will be lying down on the road and using our Gandhigiri to resist anybody, and thousands of people are already ready to lie down on the roads.
No, but I didn't see much Gandhigiri last time. I don't know if you're in a position to assure any Gandhigiri this time. I didn't see much Gandhigiri last time.
We are definitely, we apologize for that 1 or 2 one-off incidents. We are deeply sorry for that. We will never ever repeat that, and trust us, our campaign's name is From Mahatma to Manikantha Ayyappa. We will be using Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nations, resistance against any kind of invasion into Manikantha's or Ayyappa's temple.
Let's see. I think ultimately this will have to be decided in court. Certainly the review petitions have been admitted by the Supreme Court, but I think this Kerala High Court play will also be interesting to watch in the days ahead. 1 week time to the Kerala government to respond on this possibility of having separate days for women to enter the temple. Thank you very much to Rahul Ishwar and to Advaita Kala for joining us on this short face-off. And our final newsmaker tonight, in his first interview since the dissolution of the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, the National Conference President Omar Abdullah has dismissed the governor's claims of any horse trading. He's also in turn accused Ram Madhav, the BJP's General Secretary in charge of Kashmir, of insulting the National Conference and the PDP by claiming that this coalition of adversarial parties got instructions from Pakistan. Omar Abdullah sat down for his first full-length TV interview after this whole dramatic set of events that happened in Kashmir earlier this week. He spoke exclusively to Veer Sanghvi.
The governor's position, as far as I can see it, is that he was confronted with a situation where there were 2 strong competing claims, but that there would be a horse trading and buying and selling of MPs. So therefore, keeping in mind the highest traditions of democracy, he dissolved the assembly.
No, that's actually incorrect, because there was only one claim.
So that's what you're
saying. Let me finish. Yeah. There was only one claim that had an element of horse trading to it. Which was the second one, which was basically the claim that said that I have the support of the BJP and 18 other elected MLAs. Now, those 18 other elected MLAs had to have come from different parties. Mehbooba Mufti's party had 29, including 1 nominated member. I have 15, and the Congress had the rest. So there was no, we didn't offer the support of members that weren't part of these 3 political parties.
There's been that celebrated exchange of tweets between Ram Madhav and you. If I'm trying to remember this correctly, Ram Madhav tweeted, I think, at 10:30 in the morning, suggesting the fact that you'd all aligned probably was due to instructions from across the border. You responded, I suppose, quite correctly and justifiably with anger. He then appeared to pull back and said he was withdrawing his remarks.
But so stopped short of an apology.
No, he hasn't apologized. But he's withdrawn his remarks, which is still...
Well, that's as much as I could have expected from him.
Why do you say that?
I wouldn't have expected him to apologize. And look, I mean, I couldn't care less what he says about me. If he had called me a Pakistani, I wouldn't have reacted, because, I mean, I'm on Twitter, I've been there for years, I've been called much worse. But when you turn around and say, my party, the National Conference, takes its directions from Pakistan, that we stayed away from the urban local body and panchayat elections because Pakistan told us to do that, I'm sorry, but that's deeply upsetting to me, because my party has lost thousands of workers since militancy started in Jammu and Kashmir in the late 80s. You are disrespecting that sacrifice. Those people died because the National Conference held on to the Union flag. Those people died because we refused to dance on the directions of Pakistan. We refused to support militancy. We refused to support what was going on in Jammu and Kashmir. So long as I was a minister in Vajpayee Sahab's government, I was as Indian as can be. Prime Minister Vajpayee had no problem taking me with him and
you represented India abroad.
Yeah, exactly. Installing me in the Ministry of External Affairs as his MOS. As far as Mehbooba Mufti is concerned, 6 months ago this time, they were in government together.
Right.
So she wasn't Pakistani then, she wasn't taking directions from Pakistan then. Suddenly in the last 5 months, she becomes a Pakistani chali. I can have been forgotten. I left Vajpayee Sahab's government in 2002. Mehbooba was in government with them until 5 months ago. So how suddenly in 5 months does a party become Pakistani oriented? It brings me back to the point I made initially, that you basically vilify an entire community.
If you're saying that there is an attempt to vilify a community, that the vilification sometimes reaches the very top of the ruling party, that even the Raj Bhavan, perhaps, though you're not saying it, I am, has been twisted to a situation where it acts politically, how does that make you feel about the future for Kashmir?
Well, obviously we are concerned, but then we know that no situation is permanent. We have a general election coming up early next year. We're working for change. And that change obviously will then reflect on the ground in Jammu and Kashmir as well. I have made no bones about the fact that I consider Prime Minister Modi's handling of Jammu and Kashmir to be one of his biggest failures along with the economy. He has made an absolute mess of things in Jammu and Kashmir. You only have to compare the situation for the 2014 Parliament and Assembly elections to the situation now to see what an all-round mess has been made. One hopes that a new dispensation in New Delhi...
How retrievable is the situation?
Well, it hasn't reached the point of no return.
It hasn't.
It hasn't.
Right there you're optimistic.
But yeah, but it's going to take, it's going to be a long, hard road ahead.
आपको क्या लगता है जो कैंडिडेट्स जो बात कर रहे हैं जिन मुद्दों की, क्या कुछ स्ट्राइक करता है आपको? आई मीन डज इट मैटर टू यू?
सर, सबसे बेसिक जो मैटर है यहाँ का जबलपुर का, कि यहाँ पे कॉलेजेस हैं, स्कूल्स हैं, सब हैं, पर बच्चा जो है स्कूल में पढ़ता है, बड़ा होता है, कॉलेज जाता है, पढ़ता है, उसके आगे क्या? उसके आगे के लिए वो फिर पुणे, बेंगलोर, दिल्ली, मुंबई वहाँ जाना है। तो यहाँ एजुकेशन का क्या मतलब?
अगर आप लोग यहाँ पे पढ़ रहे हो, उसके बाद पढ़ने के बाद चाकिया बाहर नहीं जाओ, यहीं पर पढ़ो, क्या पॉसिबल है? कोई बात करता है इन सब चीज़ों की?
सर, अभी तो पॉसिबल नहीं हो पा रहा है यहाँ पर। अगर जबलपुर में रहना चाहें हम तो पॉसिबल नहीं हो पा रहा है ये चीज़। मेरे साथ ही है, मेरा ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट हो चुका है बट जॉब नहीं है।
तो आप क्या चाहते हो कि मध्य प्रदेश में रहो, जबलपुर में रहो, कि आपको लगता है कि जाना ही पड़ेगा? अगर करियर बनाना है तो बाहर जाना पड़ेगा।
बाहर ही जाना पड़ेगा सर। अभी जो मतलब स्थिति है यहाँ की, तो मुझे लगता है कि बाहर ही जाना पड़ेगा।
तो अगर मान लीजिए ये शिवराज सिंह चौहान जी जो है ना यहाँ पे, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर है, जानते हो ना कि चीफ मिनिस्टर है? गुड। और आपको पता है ना कि कांग्रेस का कौन है लीडर है यहाँ पे मध्य प्रदेश में?
कमलनाथ जो है वो प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं, और बाकी ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया जी हैं,
वो है। हाँ? तो अगर वो लोग, आप ये ब्रॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं, आप सब लोगों की उनसे मेन डिमांड क्या होगी, क्या कहना चाहिए? क्योंकि वो लोग अलग अलग बातें कहते हैं, आप जो जिन इश्यूज की बात करें
सर, सबसे मेन हमारा जो मोटिव है वो ये होना चाहिए कि जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज पैदा की जाए यहाँ पे।
जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज,
फैक्ट्रीज और मिल्स वगैरह यहाँ पे ओपन की जाए जिसमें जॉब मिले हमें।
जॉब, आपको भी जॉब?
यहाँ सर, बिल्कुल। फर्स्ट थिंग सर, पढ़ेगा इंडिया, इनका ये तो ठीक है, पढ़ लिया, बढ़ लिया, आगे क्या करें हम?